Hi guys, Josh Lloyd here, NBA DraftKings first look for Friday. We've got 10 games on. Before I talk about those games, you know what you got to do. You got to ring my ding-a-ling, hit the bell down below, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and then let's crack in. First game. Warriors, Raptors. Raptors are going to be without Kyle Lowry. Again, with that foot issue, not great for Lowry and where the Raptors are sitting at the moment, but that's where we're at. It is a back-to-back for the Warriors, and the Warriors are 3.5 point favorites on the road with a total of 228 here. I am still marginally interested in Wiseman, especially going up against a Raptors team with no center. 5,400 looks all right to me. Siakam at 78, going the other side, going up against Wiseman. That makes a lot of sense to me as well. I think both of those guys can be pretty useful here. Freddie VanVleet with no Lowry, well, he dropped an absolute bomb in the last game. 52 DraftKings points. I think he's a 40-point guy, almost minimum here, so I do like that scenario. And then OG Anunoby, he's really been bringing the offense. He is at 6,800, but his last 5 games have given us 39 DraftKings points. That's obviously really good. Now the price is coming up a bit, but I still don't mind. I don't mind using him there at that salary. Steph's at 97. That might be just a touch high for me. While 5,600 for Gary Trent, I like that one for Trenner. He's got an opportunity with Lowry out to put up some good shots. And of course, Rocket Rodney Hood is also going to be out. So, and more opportunities for shots for Trent in that scenario. Let's go next game. We're looking at the Houston Rockets. They are taking on the Boston Celtics in this one. We don't have a spread or a total released just at this point. Tristan Thompson is out yet again with the health and safety protocols, while Rob Williams is off the injured list after missing the last game due to illness, so he'll be back. Johnny Wall's still questionable for Houston. Williams is at 6,700. Real opportunity, I think, for the Rock DJ to put up some good numbers. And then Jaylen Brown's at 79, which is all right. I worry that there is a blowout risk here, which limits the value, I think. Marcus Smart's at 6,000. He's been playing at a higher level than that, but again, blowout risk probably takes him out of must-roster territory. I do like Jason Tatum, though. It's still only 9,100. He's got plenty of scope in that game, while Kevin Porter's at 6,500, and if Wall doesn't play, which I don't expect Wall to play, Porter at 65 absolutely looks good. He had 32 in the last game, but he's got 45 point upside here pretty clearly. Christian Wood's at 8,400, and while he's playing well, I'm not sure 8,400 is the right price. I'd probably leave that alone. I'm fading Evan Fournier pretty clearly. I do like Kelly Olynyk, though, at 5,400. Last game with Christian Wood back, he still put up 27 points, which at 5,400 is all right. I wouldn't say it's the best one out there, but I do think that there is at least some utility in using him. Dallas and the Knicks, that's the next game that we're taking a look at here. The Mavericks are 5.5 point favorites. The total is 213.5. Both Derrick Rose and Rowan Barrett Jr. are questionable for the Knicks. Of course, Mitchell Robinson remains out. Rose is at 4,700. If he plays with that sore ankle, I do think that would be a good option. I just have pretty high doubts that he does play. Doncic is at 10,700. Yeah, I like that a lot for Doncic. And then Porzingis against his former team at 8,000. And the Knicks have had a good record beating the Mavericks in those games against Porzingis. He's also averaged 48 DraftKings points the 3 times he's played up against the Knicks. Randall's at 9,600. That looks all right to me. I'm okay with using Julius there. In that scenario, Barrett's at 7,000, not interested. Brunson had a good 34-point production in the last game at 4,700. I don't fully trust that, though, so I wouldn't be rushing to get back on him. Alec Burks, Taj Gibson, Reggie Bullock, no interest in those guys, nor with Alfred Payton, despite his 31-point DraftKings performance last time. And then Emmanuel Quickly, despite his 8-point DraftKings performance in that last contest. Memphis, Minnesota. The Grizzlies are 7-point favorites here in this one. At home against Minnesota. The total is 232. Grayson Allen is questionable for Memphis. Jaren Jackson and Justice Winslow remain out. D'Angelo Russell, of course, remains out for Minnesota. 7,700 for Jonas Valanciunas, who's averaging 42 points over his last 5 games. Brandon Clark is going to return in this one. He's off the injury report. I feel pretty good about Valanciunas here, though. Well, Ja Morant, he's had some struggles for sure, but last game was excellent, and 7,600 is not a high price to pay. Towns at 10,100. Well, I feel good that Towns is going to get me 50 points basically every night. He's averaging 55 over the last 5. He makes a lot of sense. And Jaden McDaniels still under 5,000. That looks pretty strong to me considering how he's been playing. Goose, Anthony Edwards is at 7,100. I like that for Goose with how the shots have been distributed to him. Dylan Brooks, Ricky Rubio, not that exciting really at all. Malik Beasley at 6,100 doesn't particularly interest me either. A couple of stinkers from him since returning from suspension. One good game in there, though, to be fair. Charlotte and Indiana are back-to-back for the Hornets. They didn't play particularly hard on Thursday, so they should be pretty rested. The Pacers are 4-point favorites. The total, 223 points here. Malik Monk's at 4,700. We imagine he plays the back-to-back after missing a couple with that foot injury. I like him as a GPP sort of an option here in this game with that ability to go up and get some scoring happening. In the absence of LaMelo Ball, I like Brogdon at 7,000 because his salary is not bad. Now, he was pretty poor in his last outing, but I think against the Hornets, there is an opportunity for him to put up a big one. And I do love the 9,300 for Sabonis if he wasn't listed as questionable. Now, I do think he's going to play with that quad injury he suffered last game, but there is obviously a level of concern. If he is out, 6,000 for Miles Turner looks pretty bloody exciting. And then Gordon Hayward at 7,900. I'm not ready to go into that. If you want a cash option, I think TJ McConnell at 4,900, he'll get you 26 pretty easily. Not sure if his upside is high enough, but I like him at that price point. Well, 8,100 for Terry Rozier. Now, it does seem high on the surface, but Rozier is averaging 46 points in his last three. I don't think I have full reliability in Rozier being able to do that consistently, but he has been, so why not? Actually, I'll leave it alone. Someone else can use Terry Rozier at that price. Atlanta. They are taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, the Pelicans are coming off to back-to-back, but we don't know what Pelicans team this is going to be. Is it one that includes Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, and Lonzo Ball? Because those three guys didn't play Thursday, so lots of question marks there. We know Atlanta will be without John Collins. They started Solomon Hill on Thursday. Don't know whether they'll continue to do that or not. Both these teams on the back-to-back here. Trae Young's at 9,400. I think that looks pretty good. Really solid floor, solid upside. Nothing to complain about there. And without Collins, I like Clint Capella at 8,100 as well. Bogdan Bogdanovic at 5,700. There is no DeAndre Hunter also for Atlanta. So Bogdan, I think that helps him out a little bit at 5,700. He can make some money there for us. And then we go to the guys like Zion. Now, Zion plays at 9,200. I feel okay about him. I wouldn't want to use Ingram or Ball. Well, Gallinari at 55 looks like a pretty interesting high upside sort of a player. Lou Williams at 4,400 will be playing his second game for the Hawks. I'm not totally in on that, though. Eric Bledsoe's one to watch at 5,300, but that's more to do with if players sit out, especially Lonzo and Ingram. If they sit out, I think Bledsoe becomes not a bad option. Well, Nickeil Alexander-Walker's all the way up at 6,200. Now, he can easily beat that if Lonzo's out, but if Lonzo plays, that becomes one, I believe, to steer clear of. Chicago and Utah. Next game up. Now, we don't know the status of Zach LaVine or Kobe White. Actually, we know they have a status. Their status is questionable, so we don't know if they're going to play or not. The Jazz, Donovan Mitchell, missed last game due to personal reasons. I think we have to assume that there's a chance that he returns here, but we don't know that at this point. Well, Joe Ingles is listed probable, and for anyone who cares, Juwan Morgan is out with a calf issue. Again, have to have some sort of assumption that Donovan will play. The reporting from me from the Jazz that I heard was that Donovan Mitchell would miss the game because of the Jazz's plane trouble where they hit that bird and then they had an engine failure. Now, at the time of me recording this, I was just talking about the Hornets a few games ago. As I'm recording this now, Malik Monk's just gone to the locker room, so I'd say that his chances of playing, hurt his ankle, I'd say his chances of playing are pretty low, but that's just the timing of when we're recording this. Rudy Gobert against the Bulls at 7,900. I really like that for Gobert. I think there's tremendous value in him up against Chicago at 7,900. Well, Nikola Vucevic at 9,000. I actually think he can provide value. He's had a pretty good record going up against the Jazz, and if LaVine is out, he's going to get some pretty high usage there. Conley's at 6,600, which I would love if we do hear that Mitchell is out. We don't know that yet. While Bojan Bogdanovic at 54 is a pretty interesting upside play in the scenario where Don happens to sit. Thad Young's at 5,900. I like him a little bit there, more of a cash guy than an upside guy. Well, Jordan Clarkson at 61. He's shooting horribly, but he's putting up big volume, and that will be helped if Don Mitchell does happen to sit out of this game. The next game we look at, we've got the Lakers, we've got the Sacramento Kings. Good to know that we have had Andre Drummond has been ruled out already, so we know that in advance. No Anthony Davis, no LeBron James, of course. The Kings are 4.5-point favorites. Montrezl Harrell should get more minutes with Drummond out. He's at 6,600. I like that for Harrell. Good opportunity for him against the Kings. De'Aaron Fox at 89 is maybe a little bit too high, but I'm not 100% against it, especially with Dennis Schroeder guarding him. That could work out pretty well. Schroeder's at 71, and I also like that. Schroeder's been carrying a pretty large offensive load, while Rashawn Holmes at 7,500. I feel pretty good about him. You're posting close to 40 points. Harrison Barnes struggling somewhat. Not totally in on him. While Markieff Morris at 5,100 is not a bad cash play, given the way that the roster is shaking out at the moment. Kuzma at 72, I think that's probably just pushing it a little bit too high for the future MVP. Next up, it is the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are taking on the Phoenix Suns. The Thunder, of course, as usual, everyone's out, but Alexei Pokusevski is back. He's off the injury report. There's no Lou Dort. There's no Darius Baisley. There's no Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but Poku is back off the health and safety protocols, and he comes in at $5,000, so I am more than willing to use Pokusevski. I'm also more than willing to use Moses Brown at $7,200. And DeAndre Ayton's at 65. He burnt me last time. I don't feel particularly good about him at that over 6,000 price tag. Chris Paul's at 7,900. I think he's got a real opportunity to drop a real big one here on the Thunder. And they've been pretty scrappy, the Thunder, keeping games close. 86 for Devin Booker's maybe a little bit too high, while Teo Maledon at 5,800. I like that with no... Actually, Ty Jerome's out as well. So I like Maledon at 5,800 with no Shea and no Jerome. Isaiah Roby at 61 also comes in, I think, as a pretty good option, given the absences on this squad. Who else is there to look at? Svi Mykhailiuk at 5,200. Good opportunity once again for him with Dort out. I'm not sure he'll be quite as good as last game, but still a pretty solid opportunity for him to beat that number and provide at least back-end value or a nice little placeholder type guy for a cash game. Last game is the Milwaukee Bucks and the Portland Trail Blazers. Bobby Portis has been upgraded to probable while PJ Tucker is out, and Jeff Teague is questionable to make his Milwaukee Bucks debut. Not that he's listed here for DraftKings. 10,900 for Yanni. Yep, no worries. Love that for him. Lillard's at 9.9. Yep, also love that for him. The big names look to be really high, really well priced here. 6,100 for Rob Covington. Now, he is playing out of his mind. I'm not 100% convinced that that's a good bet. And DiVincenzo at 57, also not looking that great. But I do like Drew Holiday. Now, he is absolutely rolling. He's had pretty good success against Portland in the past, averaging 45 the last 3 times against them. He looks pretty good there to me. And Christian James McCollum at 8,200. Now, I would prefer Drew over CJ, but CJ obviously an option for us there as well. Enes Kanter's at 63, just with Nurkic around. I think his upside is probably just a little bit too limited for me to get excited about. We have a look at all the games. I think we can have a look at Rob Williams as a good option. Wiseman, Siakam, Valanciunas, Harrell, Pokusevski, Gobert, Moses Brown, LeVert, Morant, Kyle Anderson, Van Vliet, Anunoby, Vooch, Fox, Brogdon, Yanni, Chris Paul, and Sabonis if he's ready to play. I like all of those options there, guys. That'll do it for me. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment. And find my channel in the description, in the title, Josh Lloyd Fantasy Basketball. Guys, thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.